Welcome to the Somatic Coaching Academy podcast. I'm Ani Anderson.
And I'm Brian Trzaskos. Join us as we explore the science
and art of trauma-sensitive somatic practices and tools.
Strengthen your practice as a coach, therapist, or holistic professional.
Master the art of motivating even the most challenging clients when you understand how to tap into and unlock your client's complete holistic intelligence.
If you want to learn the most cutting-edge, research-supported skills for personal and professional mastery, you've come to the right place. Let's get this conversation started.
Hi, and welcome to the Somatic Coaching Academy podcast. We are on episode 130 today. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Ani.
How are you?
I'm doing great. And you?
Very good. Good. Enjoying the sunshine?
Are you?
Yep.
Nice.
Savoring in the springtime.
Cool. Well, here we are for another installment in our series, Insider Information.
There needs to be some kind of music.
We need a
that
theme
goes
music.
with that.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing. I don't know what it would be.
Da da da. Just
Yeah.
I can't even think of a show, but
Like
you
a
know.
detector, like
Dun,
a
dun.
reveal,
Dun.
like a reveal show, something like that.
Well, we'll just kind of come up with something and be able to sing it next time.
Yeah.
Because that
Yeah,
would
we'll
be
come up with something better. Okay, so in this little series of episodes that we're doing on insider information, what we're doing is giving you an inside peek, an inside look at what's happening in a current program that we're running at the Somatic Coaching Academy, or one that just wrapped or just finished. So maybe you do that. I'm not even going to try to wrap.
And one of the reasons that we do this is because people say when they're inside of the program, I wish I had known that this was what it was like inside the program.
Yeah.
So we're trying to show you.
Trying to give you an idea what happens inside the programs, actually. So this time we're talking about Somatic Practice Essentials, where people earn a core centering practitioner certification. And it's the level 1, it's the first step in our somatic coach training process or program or series or what method sort of thing, okay? So what happens inside of this program, inside of the Somatic Practice Essentials program? I'm going to give you just a quick overview of the program, and then we're going to read to you. We asked either people that were currently in the current flight that was just happening in February, or recent graduates from the program. We asked them 2 questions about the program and we're going to share those with you. So what happens inside this program? Well, core centering, you've heard us talk a lot about it in past podcasts, I'm sure. It's the program where we really focus on nervous system balancing and regulation.
And being able to teach other people how to do that.
Yes, yeah.
Because it's a certification program.
Correct.
I mean, people come and take it because they want to take it for themselves all the time, but also there's a focus on being able to really turnkey, being able to take those and work with clients.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big part of it, being able to turn around and share the love, if you will, to help other people learn how to regulate their nervous systems. So there's a pretty big a component of physiology
Which
as a part of the program.
Love, by the way. I mean, if you like Brian's science nuggets on the podcast, that is one of the things that people tell me all the time that they love so much about this program.
Yeah.
It's all the science.
Yeah, it's so much fun. It really helps to reveal why we're doing the things that we're doing. And I think in a lot of ways, it gives people permission and helps to normalize these practices, because then they have a scientific understanding of physiologically the benefits that it has for them.
It has kind of 2 big benefits. One is, now I understand why it works. But the other thing is now I can articulate to other people why it works. You know, most of the people who are hanging around, the listeners, is probably you too, are like holistic people. We do stuff in the holistic kind of space. And there isn't a lot about the science behind it. I mean, there's some people talk about the brain science, but I think that physiology component about the physiology is really what people love so much.
Yeah. So the physiology we touch upon in the program is we talk about stress physiology and the relaxation response physiology. We talk about the vagus nerve physiology. We talk about meridians, and we talk about the physiology of self-massage, mindful movement, breath practices, and meditation. We wrap all that together into teaching students to practice and employ all four elements of core centering, and especially the secret sauce of core centering, which it's a secret sauce. You got to get into the program to understand why it's secret sauce and the way that we lay it out. There's a kind
It's
of physiologically based method of why we do it the way we do it.
because it's not just about doing gentle movement, self-massage, and meditation, breath work, that and all that stuff. It's about doing it in a certain way that unlocks the physiology to be able to have the responses. So,
Yes,
yeah. But
exactly.
that's what people learn during the course of the
That's what we learned
program.
during the program. Yeah. We do breakout practices during the program so that students can go into the breakout rooms with each other and practice the practices, I guess, practice the methods, get feedback from one another. It's always very collegial. And it's the thing that people, when we get feedback from the program, one of the things they enjoy the most about the program.
Really,
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool because some people get really nervous. I do sometimes about those things. So I think that's really neat.
Well, it's funny because when I say we're going to do breakouts, people get nervous, and then when they come back from it, they say that was amazing. Oh my God, can we do it again? It's predictably every time.
Yeah.
People are like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And we set them up in there, and they come back, and they just had a great time, and they just want to keep going back and doing those again.
Part of the reason for that is because the practices are great. Like when people get nervous, oh, could I lead a class? Oh, could I do this with my clients? You kind of can't screw it up because the practices and the way that you teach people how to do it in a certain way just they feel so nice.
Yeah, yeah,
It feels
yeah. It
great. So
feels
how
great
do
to
you
do
not
them.
have a good time?
Exactly. And then the other thing that we do as a part of the program, so the kind of the delivery of the program, it starts off with a 2 day intensive where we get together for 2 days and we go through all the practices, all the physiology. By the way, there's a whole vault that goes along with the program also that has physiology videos in it that a lot of people watch even before coming to the 2 day intensive. So they feel like they're already prepared and ready to jump in. And then what we do for 4 weeks following that 2 day intensive, we do a weekly practice session where we get back together and I lead a class. And oftentimes I ask the students, what would you love to have a class in? What are your questions about? So the flight we just did in February, the February group, they wanted to know, well, what about a core centering practice for waking up during the day or in the morning? So we did a core centering wake up practice. Then they wanted to know, what about a core centering practice for helping me fall asleep at night? So we did a core centering falling asleep, sleepy time practice. And we record those practices and then we put them in another vault, or actually it's still in that core centering vault, but where all graduates can access it also. So we kind of keep building a bank of practices that people can go back to and look at. We also did in that session, they want to know, what about little quick hits? And then they did gave me little scenarios during the day.
Oh,
They
that's fun.
said, what if I'm at work during the day and I have a hard, difficult conversation coming up? What can I do really quickly? I said, okay, so this is what you do. You step into a boardroom or step into the stall in the bathroom,
Bathroom.
and this is what you do. And we did like a 3 minute core centering practice specifically to help them prepare for that conversation or meeting. We actually set it up as a before, during, and after. They're like, these are things you can do before something. These are things you can do during. Like one of the students wanted to know, hey, she said, I lecture and I teach a lot. And if I get kind of dysregulated while I'm doing that, what can I do? So we walked through a simple core centering practice you could do during her lecture. And then we did an afterwards also, like something happened, what can I do? And we made them all very quick hitting practices. That's what they wanted to know. So that's what we created for people. So we really try to answer people's questions during the process and during the program, and then give them resources so they can take it out there in the world in a really powerful way.
There's tons of resources in the vault, by the way, about how to, like we said, turnkey, take this in. And don't forget about me. I do a business building bonus as a part of this program that we have grads come back to over and over again, where we talk about our client connection model, which is the method that we use to help attract clients. And one of the things I really always appreciate about it is we always have really experienced practitioners as a part of our program. People are already therapists and coaches, have been working on their own, or people who are leaving their jobs and want to start their own thing. But especially for the people who have already, heard information about how to get clients before, they always really appreciate our relationship-based model and how easy it is, especially when they use core centering.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
fun.
So let's share some of the insider information from some of the students who just finished in this past February or the flight before that happened in the November before that. So this is from the last kind of two flights.
What questions did you ask
So
them?
the two questions I asked was, what was the thing that you enjoyed the most about core centering? Or what were the things that you were excited about the most? And then the second question was, what do people who did not choose to join the program need to know?
Oh, okay. I like that.
Right? So those are the
Yep.
two things. So first question. So Sarah Baldwin, who's a recent graduate, said for that first one, she said, I really appreciated how grounded and real the group space feels. There's something powerful about learning somatic tools by actually practicing them together, slowing down, noticing what's happening in your body, and sharing that process with others. That's what Sarah enjoyed most about the program.
Cool. Um, I was just looking at Adele's and what she liked most about the program because she said she liked the breakout room sessions. I thought that was funny
Yeah,
because
you want to
that's
share that one?
exactly what you
Yeah.
said. I loved the practice in the breakout room sessions, exclamation point. It was fun and effective. But she did say that her favorite thing was learning with the community. And I think that's one of the things that's really hard to articulate about what's in the program before you get in the program is the community here in the classes in any of our programs have these like mature, professional, open, curious, consciously minded, caring human beings in them that are just like people say all the time, the community that I have been looking for that I couldn't find.
Yeah.
So Adele speaks to that. And she was saying that she had a profound breakout room moment where she was guided through something that she still thinks about a year later. So there you go. The
Yeah, so
breakout
that's great.
rooms.
And she was guided through one of the practices that she learned as a part of the program, right? So that was really,
Yeah, that's
really
what they're
cool.
doing there.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to circle back to
Yeah.
Sarah really quick. So Sarah said, for someone who didn't decide to do it yet or haven't decided to do it yet, they'd be missing the chance to experience regulation from the inside out. She said it's one thing to learn about the nervous system intellectually, but it's completely different to feel it shift in real time and build skills you can actually use in your daily life.
So Adele talks about tools, but she also talks about this idea that everything we want to create in life begins when we bring balance to our
Yeah,
systems.
that
And now Adele is also a graduate of all of the programs, so she's really seen the continuation of the
of the
work,
work, right?
right?
Start at that level one, going all the way through to level three.
Right, right. So she really now understands some of the most advanced stuff that we're teaching here and seeing how it really starts with bringing balance to our system. It's like that. It's that important, but at the end, especially when you know the most advanced level skills, because you can just go in and like do a few practices with people. Because I know coaches and therapists who just pull out a few, tricks out of their
Yeah, like kind of
bag
ad
once in a
hoc, right?
while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it can feel good. I mean, hopefully nobody's re-traumatized because that can happen, but it can feel good. But then, like, how do you make it become the basis for a transformation that somebody has to be able to make sustainable transformations? And that's really what Adele's speaking to.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so let's go to Chelsea. So Chelsea said her favorite thing about the program was the way it combined the best of Eastern and Western thinking to yield a highly effective and practical strategies to help her find her center. And she loved that now she has the entire repertoire of these somatic exercises at her disposal that she can tap into anytime, anywhere. She doesn't need special equipment. She doesn't need a large space. She said it's so convenient. And she literally uses these in her car when she's stuck in traffic sometimes. Yeah.
It's actually a really good way to use it. We wouldn't know that because the only traffic we get stuck behind is a tractor every
Right.
once in a while in an Amish cart. So Chelsea has lots of things to say about if you haven't joined the program, what you need to know. And Chelsea was a big fan of the science and stuff.
Yeah.
She also like really had a profound personal transformation. So I'm going to point out some things that really stuck out to me, but you might see some other
Sure.
things too. Chelsea wants you to know that our species is not meant to function under chronic stress. And I think one of the things that I appreciate about doing the work as a practice, doing core centering as a practice, is recognizing over and over again for myself that I was having more stress than I thought I was. And we encourage our core centering teachers and practice leaders to help people to see actually that they were having more stress than they thought they were, because when we bring awareness to the fact that we're functioning under chronic stress, it can be really, really helpful to understand so much about the problems that we're all kinds of problems that we're having in our life. So she reminds us that we're not meant to function under chronic stress, and then goes on to say that she realized that how much harm she was inadvertently doing to herself simply by adhering to the status quo, which is what we were talking about on a podcast. Was it last time? Last week?
Yeah, last week. Yep, we talked about it last week.
Yeah. So if you want to hear Brian and I get on a soapbox about that, check out last week's podcast. But I mean, uh, Chelsea is a person who feels just like renewed
Mm.
based on having this. And I think this part that she says about inadvertently doing harm to myself by adhering to the status quo, like she just didn't know. So I vowed to appreciate, respect, and honor my biology moving forward. And I just really see that for her. This program taught me how to do that. And she uses her core centering tools regularly, and it is happier, healthier, and finally feeling empowered to lead the kind of life I want to lead.
Yeah, and the other thing I really love about Chelsea is by training, she was an early educator,
Right.
and so she is very passionate. Again, a lot about what we talked about last week about offering these types of tools to kids who need that access, and also parents of kids
Yep.
who need that access as well.
Yeah.
She's kind of has a whole nonprofit charitable mission around that, which is really awesome.
I always appreciate that our students who are educators,
Mhm.
because we've had a number of them, really love this program. They love all of the programs, Brian, because you do such a fantastic job to be able to really put together a program that is stimulating intellectually without being over people's heads. It's like just the right amount. And it's hard to talk sometimes about these universal principles, and you make it very practical, but it always makes me very happy when somebody has a lot of education and they
Yeah,
take our programs and they feel really met
yeah.
by the programs. Because sometimes this kind of stuff, not here, but when you take classes with other people, can feel a little fluffy.
Mhm.
And so in our programs, you're not going to feel like it's fluffy, but you're also not going to feel like it's over your head, and you're not going to feel like it's too much to digest, like you're getting a fire hose. It's just like sitting down to a really wonderful meal. Like it meets people's intellect and learning and integration just the right way.
Yeah,
Okay,
really
that
good.
was my
That
thing,
was your
but
takeaway.
yeah.
But let's it kind of leads into what Adrienne was saying for her favorite thing about the program. She said her favorite thing was learning about the science and physiology of stress and anxiety, and how the core centering practice is structured to help people rebalance their nervous systems effectively. And then the magic happens when we learn the practice and can see how efficient it is as well for ourselves. The physiology part is presented in such a way to be accessible, to understand, and also share about when I'm giving presentations or classes, people really appreciate and enjoy learning more about it. So it kind of leads exactly what you were talking about.
Well, I really appreciate what Adrian said about things you want to know, too, about being in the program. This one, I think, speaks to what I was talking about as well. Like, it's good for all levels, because sometimes people will ask us, I'm already a yoga instructor, I'm already a Tai Chi instructor, a Qigong instructor, I'm already, I have a master's in neurology, whatever, those kinds of things. Do I have to take this? And Adrian says, that it's great for all skill levels. If someone's just starting out, it's a great solid foundation. And if you have a practice already, it takes you to the next level. And I've really, really seen this with
Mm-hmm.
people. She said, I had a meditation and breathwork practice before, but I would still find myself struggling to stay focused at times with a racing mind. That is so common,
Exactly. So common.
so common. But core centering has taken my energy, movement, and meditation to a whole new level. I'm able to access a balanced, grounded, meditative state so much quicker. And that's because of the secret sauce.
That's because of the secret sauce.
Yeah.
Exactly. Love it. And then Brian Tanner says, my favorite thing about the Somatic Practice Essentials program was the experience of the practice, even while learning how to practice it with others. I know exactly how wonderful practicing core centering can feel, and I'm so rewarded by being able to impart this feeling of relief and alignment to my class participants.
And then he talks about actually doing core centering professionally, which I appreciate because we've put a lot of
Yeah,
time and
yeah.
effort into making sure that people, again, have that turnkey solution to be able to take this work into their work. And he says someone who has not joined the program needs to hear that this program teaches you how to set themselves up to teach core centering entirely, from the practice itself being deeply rooted in the mind body experience to the business bonus. Thanks for the shout out, Brian.
Yeah.
That allows someone to work immediately. This program is full of opportunity. I've also been pleasantly surprised at how many potential practice locations respond with somebody who says, "Oh my goodness, this is exactly what our members have been looking for." And that's what I'm telling you in the business bonus. Like, there are literally people waiting for you to do these practices. Thank you, Brian. That makes me so happy.
Yeah. And it's funny, as we were first creating core centering, this training, and this training's 6 years old now.
It's
And
got to be older than that, isn't it?
well,
Oh, no,
in its
no.
current
Right.
form, it's
Yeah.
6 years old. Obviously, we were teaching these things long before
Yeah,
this.
right. We've been
In
teaching
its
his
current form.
incarnation for like 14
But the
years.
thing is, it's like when we first put it in this form
Yeah.
6 years ago, and then we would ask people what their barriers were to taking it out in the world, and they would come up with barriers. So we'd solve that solution.
We'd put it in the
Another one, they
program.
solve that solution, right?
Put
We
that
put
in the
that in the
program.
program, put that in program, and we're at the point now where we have
There's no
we've
excuses.
taken away everyone's excuses, and people will say that the last part of the 2-day intensive, we go through the whole vault, and I walk people through there and show them all the resources they have, and people are like. I remember one student in particular was like, "Oh, damn it." And I said, "What?" She said, "You took away all my excuses." Because now I actually have to do it. I can't say I don't have that or I don't have that. You've
Right.
actually thought of everything.
Everything.
And I said, yeah, well, we did that because we were tired of hearing people's excuses about why they weren't taking this work out into the world. So we wanted to solve so I challenge you as a student coming through the program, find a hole, find an excuse. We will solve it and give that to you. I mean, we can't go actually out there and do it for you. So we can't do it for you.
We can't do.
But we've given you all of the tools in order to go out and do it. Turnkey. It's a turnkey program.
Yep. Shout out to Sarah and Chelsea and Adrian and Adele and Brian. Thanks so much for sharing your experience. Your voice matters so much so that people can understand the kind of work that we're doing here at the Somatic Coaching Academy, the kind of work you're doing, and the kind of impact that we can make in the world when we take these tools to people, because that's really what we're about here, is helping people to be able to fully express themselves in a world that is safe enough for everybody to do that, and do that with a program like this.
And these are the people that are doing it. So if you're inspired by these people's voices and by their stories, I'm inspired by their voices and their stories. If you're inspired by them too, these are the kind of people who are inside of the Somatic Coaching Academy community, and they're the kind of people that are waiting for you to join them.
Cheer you on. Yep. Hey, thanks, Brian. That was super fun.
Thanks so much, friends, for joining us for another Insider Information.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, we're working on it. Okay.
Yeah, we'll work.
Thanks so much, everybody. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode. We hope that this conversation will help you improve your practice and change the way you think about your work, your clients, and yourself.
Continue your exploration of trauma-sensitive somatic coaching by listening to more podcast episodes at somaticcoachingacademy.com. You could be the trusted guide that people turn to help them with their most challenging situations and to reach their most precious goals. Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you next time.